In Hollywood's glittering facade, some of the brightest stars have carried the heaviest secrets. Behind award-winning performances and standing ovations, 15 black actors have navigated a labyrinth of expectations, prejudice, and personal truth that could make or break careers. Some chose silence as armor, others wielded authenticity as a weapon. From the comedy stages that launched legends to the dramatic roles that changed cinema forever, these performers have redefined what it means to be both black and LGBTQ+ in an industry that often demands you choose only one identity to show the world. Their stories aren't just about fame, they're about survival, courage, and the revolutionary act of living authentically when everything around you whispers to hide. If you're ready to discover the untold journeys of courage and authenticity, subscribe now and join us as we explore what happens when talent meets truth. Tyler Perry, The Empire Builder's Private War. Tyler Perry's transformation from homeless dreamer to billionaire mogul reads like the ultimate American success story. But beneath the empire lies a man who has mastered the art of strategic silence. Born into poverty and abuse in New Orleans, Perry discovered writing as salvation after watching Oprah discuss journaling's therapeutic power. His early years were marked by failure. His first play flopped so catastrophically that he lived in his car, clinging to faith and determination when everything else crumbled. The creation of Medea changed everything. This gun-toting grandmother became Perry's golden ticket, resonating with black church audiences who saw themselves reflected in her no-nonsense wisdom. From stage plays to blockbuster films, Perry built an entertainment dynasty that culminated in Tyler Perry Studios, a 330-acre Atlanta complex that made him the first black person to own a major film studio outright. Yet success brought scrutiny. Perry's portrayal of Medea, his close friendships within the LGBTQ+ community, and his deliberate avoidance of romantic relationships sparked persistent speculation about his sexuality. Critics analyzed every gesture, every friendship, every creative choice for hidden meanings. Perry's response has been unwavering silence. He refuses to confirm or deny, instead redirecting conversations toward his work and philanthropy. During the pandemic, he quietly paid for groceries for thousands of families. His studio employs hundreds of black creatives. His charitable giving reaches millions. This strategic privacy has become Perry's greatest power move, proving that in a world obsessed with exposure, sometimes the most radical act is keeping your truth to yourself while using your platform to lift others. Michael K. Williams, The Wounded Warrior's Legacy. Michael Kenneth Williams transformed personal pain into artistic gold, creating characters so authentic they seemed ripped from real life rather than crafted from scripts. Growing up in Brooklyn's Vanderveer housing projects, Williams initially found escape through dance, working with superstars like Madonna and Missy Elliott. But at 25, a bar fight left him with a distinctive facial scar that could have ended his entertainment career. Instead, that scar became his signature, a mark of survival that casting directors found magnetic. Williams' breakthrough as Omar Little in The Wire shattered every stereotype about black masculinity and gay representation on television. Omar was complex, fearless, and unapologetically queer, a stick-up artist who operated by his own moral code in Baltimore's drug underworld. Williams brought such depth to the role that even hardcore criminals praised his portrayal's authenticity. Behind the acclaimed performances, Williams battled demons that mirrored his character's struggles. His openness about drug addiction and recovery made him more than an actor. He became a voice for the voiceless, someone who understood that authentic art often emerges from authentic pain. Though Williams never explicitly discussed his own sexuality, his passionate advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights and his nuanced portrayals of queer characters made him a beloved figure in the community. He used his platform to support criminal justice reform and mentor young artists from marginalized backgrounds. Williams's tragic death in 2021 from an accidental overdose robbed the world of an irreplaceable talent. His legacy endures not just in memorable performances, but in his demonstration that vulnerability and strength can coexist, that scars can become sources of power, and that the most important role any actor can play is simply being human. Tyrese Gibson, the vulnerable warrior. Tyrese Gibson's journey from Watts to worldwide recognition represents both triumph and the cost of emotional transparency in a world that often punishes black men for showing feeling. Abandoned by his father and raised by a single mother in poverty, Tyrese discovered his voice at 16 when a Coca-Cola commercial changed his trajectory. His soulful Always Coca-Cola jingle launched a music career that produced Grammy-nominated hits like Sweet Lady and established him as R&B royalty. Hollywood beckoned, and Tyrese proved his versatility in John Singleton's Baby Boy before joining blockbuster franchises like Fast and Furious and Transformers. His ability to balance vulnerability with action hero machismo set him apart from peers who felt pressured to choose one persona. But Tyrese's emotional openness became both his strength and his burden. His tearful social media posts about divorce, mental health struggles, and love for his daughter Shayla sparked both admiration and speculation. Critics questioned whether his vulnerability signaled something deeper about his identity, while supporters praised his willingness to show black fathers could be tender and expressive. Persistent rumors about his sexuality have followed Tyrese throughout his career, fueled partly by his close male friendships and emotional expressions of love that transcend traditional masculine boundaries. His consistent denials have done little to quiet speculation, revealing how society struggles to accept emotional complexity in black men. Beyond music and acting, Tyrese has become an author and entrepreneur, writing books about relationships and self-improvement. His business ventures demonstrate his commitment to building generational wealth, while his advocacy for mental health awareness shows his dedication to helping others navigate their own emotional journeys. Donnie McClurkin, the gospel contradiction. Donnie McClurkin stands as one of gospel music's most powerful voices and most complicated figures, a man whose spiritual journey has intersected painfully with questions of sexuality and faith. Born in Amityville, New York, McClurkin's childhood was marked by sexual abuse that left lasting scars on his understanding of identity and belonging. These early traumas shaped both his spiritual seeking and his relationship with his own sexuality, creating internal conflicts that would define his public ministry. Music became McClurkin's salvation. His soaring vocals and heartfelt delivery on songs like Stand and We Fall Down earned him 3 Grammy Awards and made him one of gospel's biggest stars. His albums topped charts while his live performances filled arenas with believers seeking hope and healing. The complexity emerged when McClurkin openly discussed having same-sex relationships in his past, attributing them to childhood trauma rather than innate orientation. His subsequent claims that faith had delivered him from homosexuality sparked fierce debate within both religious and LGBTQ+ communities. McClurkin's statements suggesting that sexual orientation could be changed through prayer drew criticism from advocates who saw his words as harmful to LGBTQ+ youth. Yet his supporters viewed his testimony as evidence of God's transformative power, making him a lightning rod in ongoing cultural battles about sexuality and spirituality. His health battles, including surviving leukemia and a near-fatal car accident, seemed to deepen his convictions about divine purpose and redemption. As pastor of Perfecting Faith Church, he continues ministering to thousands while maintaining his controversial stance on sexuality. McClurkin's story illustrates the painful intersection of trauma, faith, and identity, a reminder that personal truth often defies simple categorization. Jamie Foxx, the mystery behind the mask. Eric Marlon Bishop, known globally as Jamie Foxx, has built one of entertainment's most versatile careers while maintaining an almost impenetrable wall around his private life. Growing up in Terrell, Texas with his grandmother after his parents' separation, Foxx discovered early that humor and music could transform pain into power. His ability to mimic voices and create characters made him a standout on In Living Color before launching The Jamie Foxx Show. But comedy was just the beginning. Foxx's Oscar-winning portrayal of Ray Charles required such intense preparation, including gluing his eyes shut to experience blindness, that it elevated him into the ranks of serious dramatic actors. His Grammy-winning music career with hits like Blame It proved his talents transcended any single medium. Despite decades in the spotlight, Foxx has masterfully deflected personal questions. Speculation about his sexuality has persisted, fueled by his long periods of bachelorhood and reluctance to discuss romantic relationships in detail. Industry rumors and unnamed sources have suggested relationships with male actors, but Foxx has never addressed such claims directly. His high-profile connections with women, including rumored relationships with Katie Holmes and others, have done little to quiet gossip. Instead, Foxx seems to delight in keeping everyone guessing, using humor and deflection to maintain privacy in an industry that demands total transparency. Recent health scares reminded fans of Foxx's humanity beneath the celebrity facade. His recovery and return to public life only strengthened his reputation as someone who survives on his own terms. Foxx's career demonstrates that talent can transcend speculation, that sometimes the greatest power lies in refusing to explain yourself to anyone. Wanda Sykes, the fearless truth teller. Wanda Sykes transformed from government employee to comedy revolutionary, using humor as a weapon against prejudice and silence. Born in Portsmouth, Virginia, and raised in a middle-class family, Sykes seemed destined for conventional success. After graduating from Hampton University with a marketing degree, she landed a job with the National Security Agency, about as far from comedy clubs as possible. But the stage was stronger than the security clearance. Sykes discovered her gift during a Washington, D.C. comedy contest, leading to writing gigs on The Chris Rock Show that earned her an Emmy Award. Her sharp observations about race, gender, and politics made her a sought-after voice in comedy. Sykes's boldest moment came in 2008 when she publicly came out as a lesbian at a same-sex marriage rally in Las Vegas. At 44, having previously been married to a man, her announcement shocked many fans, but established her as one of Hollywood's most visible black lesbian voices. Her marriage to French businesswoman Alex Sykes and their twins, Olivia and Lucas, created a new chapter where personal happiness intersected with public advocacy. Sykes began weaving LGBTQ+ rights into her comedy routines, using laughter to make serious points about equality and acceptance. Her humor remains fearlessly political, tackling everything from racism to homophobia with surgical precision. Whether hosting awards shows or releasing Netflix specials, Sykes refuses to soften her edges for broader appeal. Stand-up remains her true calling, a space where truth-telling meets entertainment, where laughter becomes activism. Sykes proves that coming out isn't just about personal freedom. It's about using that freedom to clear the path for others. Marsai Martin, the young trailblazer. Marsai Martin represents Hollywood's new generation, artists who refuse to wait for permission to create change. Born in Plano, Texas, Martin displayed star quality early, leading her parents to support her entertainment ambitions. At 9, she landed the role of Diane Johnson on ABC's Blackish, delivering sharp comedy with wisdom that belied her years. Her 9 NAACP Image Awards and Screen Actors Guild nominations established her as a legitimate talent, not just a cute kid. But Martin's ambitions extended beyond acting. At 14, she made history as Hollywood's youngest executive producer with Little, a film she also starred in alongside Issa Rae and Regina Hall. The movie's $50 million global gross proved that young black women could helm major projects successfully. Success brought scrutiny, Social media speculation about Martin's personal life, including unfounded rumors about her sexuality, forced conversations about how young black women navigate fame differently than their peers. Martin has chosen privacy over explanation, focusing on her craft rather than addressing gossip. Her company, Genius Productions, creates platforms for authentic black storytelling. Through voice acting, producing, and brand partnerships, she's building an empire while still in her 20s. Her magazine covers and fashion choices influence young fans who see themselves reflected in her success. Martin's advocacy for inclusivity and LGBTQ+ rights demonstrates mature understanding of her platform's power. She supports equality while maintaining personal boundaries, showing young stars they can be allies without sacrificing privacy. Now 21, Martin has already achieved more than many actors accomplish in lifetime careers. Her story proves that age doesn't determine impact, that sometimes the youngest voices carry the clearest vision of what's possible. Coleman Domingo, the Renaissance artist. Coleman Domingo embodies the rare artist who excels across multiple mediums while living openly and authentically in an industry that often demands compromise. Born in Philadelphia to a working-class Caribbean family, Domingo's path to recognition wasn't direct. He studied journalism at Temple University before relocating to San Francisco to pursue theater, where his one-man shows combining music, memory, and family history earned critical acclaim. Broadway beckoned with roles in Passing Strange and The Scottsboro Boys, establishing Domingo as a theatrical force. His transition to television and film proved equally successful, from commanding presence as Victor Strand in Fear the Walking Dead to his Emmy-winning guest role as Allie in Euphoria. But perhaps his most significant performance came in Rustin, where he portrayed civil rights leader Bayard Rustin with such authenticity that it earned him an Oscar nomination. The role felt personal. Domingo bringing his experience as an openly gay black man to embody a historical figure whose sexuality was often marginalized in civil rights narratives. Domingo's openness about his marriage to husband Raul contrasts sharply with Hollywood's historical pressure for black actors to hide their sexuality. Their relationship, which began through a Craigslist ad in 2005, represents enduring queer love in an industry where such relationships were once invisible. Beyond acting, Domingo works as playwright and director, with upcoming projects including a Nat King Cole biopic. His creative output reflects his commitment to preserving black cultural history while expanding representation for LGBTQ+ artists. Domingo's advocacy extends beyond his work. He mentors young artists and speaks openly about the importance of authenticity, demonstrating that success doesn't require hiding who you are. Sometimes it requires the exact opposite. Kevin Aviance, the indestructible icon. Kevin Aviance transformed nightclub performance into high art, becoming a symbol of queer resilience and creative fearlessness. Born in Richmond, Virginia, as the youngest of 8 children in a Catholic family, Aviance discovered early that conformity wasn't his path. At 18, he moved to Washington, D.C., immersing himself in underground drag and ballroom scenes before relocating to New York City, where his legend truly began. Standing over 6 feet tall and performing in towering heels, elaborate costumes, and avant-garde makeup, Aviance became a dominant presence in 1990s New York nightlife. As a member of the House of Aviance, one of ballroom culture's most influential families, his performances fused fashion, dance, and theater into unforgettable spectacles. His music career took flight with tracks like Din Da Da and Alive, which dominated dance clubs and reached Billboard charts. Alive became particularly significant after 9/11, serving as an anthem of survival and hope for communities devastated by loss. In 2006, tragedy struck when Aviance was brutally attacked in a hate crime that left him with multiple fractures. Instead of retreating, he returned to performing after months of recovery, defiantly declaring that no violence could extinguish his light. His resilience transformed him into a symbol of survival for LGBTQ+ communities worldwide. Aviance's influence extends far beyond nightclubs. His collaborations with designers like Thierry Mugler and his appearances in documentaries highlighting ballroom culture helped bring underground queer artistry to mainstream attention. When Beyoncé sampled his voice on her Grammy-winning Renaissance album, it introduced his contributions to a new generation. Today, Aviance continues performing, inspiring, and thriving, proving that authenticity and artistry can survive any assault. Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman, the courageous survivor. Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman's journey from small-town outsider to international advocate illustrates both the possibilities and perils of visibility for Black queer artists. Born in Edmonton and raised in rural Alberta, Canada, Bowyer-Chapman navigated identity challenges from early childhood. Adopted into a mixed-race family and growing up in predominantly white spaces, he often felt like an outsider before even understanding his sexuality. His career began in modeling, traveling internationally as a teenager before transitioning to acting in his 20s. His breakthrough role as Jay on Lifetime's Unreal provided one of television's few nuanced portrayals of an openly gay Black man, mirroring aspects of his own experience in entertainment. Joining Canada's Drag Race as a judge in 2020 seemed like a perfect fit, bringing representation to a franchise built on queer artistry. However, his presence sparked vicious racist and homophobic backlash online. The abuse became so toxic that he eventually stepped away from the show, sparking important conversations about how even LGBTQ+ spaces can fail to protect people of color. Rather than retreat into silence, Bowyer-Chapman used his experience to advocate for safer spaces for queer people of color. His honesty about the emotional toll of online harassment resonated with fans who saw both strength and vulnerability in his response. His acting career has continued flourishing with roles in American Horror Story, Doom Patrol, and other projects. Off-screen, he hosts podcasts exploring identity, spirituality, and personal growth, creating platforms for meaningful dialogue. Bowyer-Chapman's story demonstrates that representation isn't just about being seen. It's about being understood, respected, and protected. His willingness to speak truth about both triumph and trauma lights the way for others still gathering courage to live authentically. Jeremy Pope, the Broadway revolutionary. Jeremy Pope's meteoric rise represents a new era where Black queer artists refuse to choose between identity and excellence. Born in Orlando, Florida, Pope grew up with strong family support for his artistic dreams. After high school, he attended the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City, determined to create space for himself in an industry where Black queer men were rarely given leading roles. In 2019, Pope accomplished something nearly unprecedented, earning 2 Tony Award nominations in the same year. His performance in Choir Boy as a young Black gay student seeking acceptance resonated deeply with audiences, while his role as Eddie Kendricks in Ain't Too Proud showcased his musical versatility. Becoming only the 6th person in history to receive dual acting nominations cemented his status as a theatrical powerhouse. Hollywood took notice. Pope's starring role in Ryan Murphy's Hollywood as Archie Coleman, a gay Black screenwriter fighting industry erasure, felt like art imitating life. The performance earned him an Emmy nomination while addressing real barriers faced by queer artists of color. His film work has been equally impactful. In The Inspection, based on director Elegance Bratton's experience as a young gay Black man joining the Marines, Pope's performance earned Golden Globe recognition for Best Actor, rare acknowledgement for an openly gay Black actor in leading dramatic roles. Beyond acting, Pope pursues music with his smooth tenor voice and original compositions. His activism focuses on industry inclusion, speaking candidly about challenges faced by queer artists of color. Pope represents a generation unafraid to embrace every aspect of identity, race, sexuality, creativity, and transform it into strength. His success proves that authenticity and excellence aren't opposing forces. They're complementary powers that amplify each other. Karamo Brown, The Healing Guide. Karamo Brown transformed reality television from superficial entertainment into profound healing, becoming a guide for people seeking authentic lives. Born in Houston to a Jamaican-Cuban household, Brown faced early challenges when he came out as gay at 15 during the mid-1990s, a time when LGBTQ+ visibility was virtually non-existent. While his truth created family friction, it became the foundation for his life's mission of empowering others to live authentically. Brown made history in 2004 as the first openly gay black man on MTV's The Real World, Philadelphia. His groundbreaking appearance sparked conversations about race, sexuality, and acceptance when few mainstream platforms told LGBTQ stories. Rather than treating visibility as a burden, he embraced the opportunity to educate and inspire. His career path proved unconventional. Brown worked as a licensed social worker and counselor, focusing on LGBTQ+ youth and families. His personal life took an unexpected turn when he discovered he had an 11-year-old son, Jason, gaining full custody and later welcoming Jason's half-brother Christian into his home. In 2018, Brown re-emerged in the spotlight as the culture expert on Netflix's Queer Eye reboot. His role transcended makeover television, providing a platform for emotional healing and empowerment. With compassion and wisdom, he helped participants confront identity issues, confidence struggles, and emotional wounds. Brown's influence extends beyond television. His memoir, Karamo, My Story of Embracing Purpose, Healing and Hope, detailed his journey from coming out to fatherhood. His children's book, I Am Perfectly Designed, co-authored with his son Jason, teaches kids about self-love and acceptance. His advocacy for mental health awareness within Black and LGBTQ+ communities dismantles harmful stereotypes while inspiring crucial conversations about topics often silenced. Darryl Stephens, The Quiet Pioneer. Darryl Stephens became a cultural trailblazer not through loud declarations, but through consistent, authentic representation that changed television history. Born in Pasadena, California, Stephens was raised in a family valuing education and creativity. At UC Berkeley, he studied sociology and ethnic studies, fields that sharpened his understanding of identity, culture, and representation. These studies would later inform his careful choice of roles and the stories he helped tell. Stephens began acting in the late 1990s with small television appearances and independent films. But his breakthrough came in 2005 with Noah's Ark on the Logo Network, the first American television series centered on Black gay men's lives. As Noah Nicholson, a sensitive screenwriter navigating love, friendship, and professional challenges, Stephens provided representation that millions had never seen on television. Though Noah's Ark lasted only 2 seasons plus a feature film, its cultural impact was profound. For many viewers worldwide, it was the first time they saw authentic reflections of themselves on screen. The show became a cornerstone of queer Black representation, paving the way for more inclusive storytelling in subsequent years. After Noah's Ark, Stephens continued working in television and film with roles in Be Positive and Lovecraft Country. His stage work showcased versatility as both comedic and dramatic actor. Beyond performing, he became a published author with novels exploring themes of race, love, and identity from deeply personal perspectives. Stephens has been an outspoken advocate for LGBTQ+ visibility, particularly for Black queer men. Rather than hiding his identity to fit Hollywood's mold, he chose authenticity, inspiring younger artists to follow similar paths. His legacy lies in proving that visibility isn't just entertainment. It's survival, affirmation, and revolution wrapped in compelling storytelling. Jerrod Carmichael, the truth-telling comedian. Jerrod Carmichael weaponized comedy to expose hidden realities, transforming personal pain into cultural revelation. Born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to a working-class, deeply religious family, Carmichael grew up carrying unspoken questions about identity while finding solace in humor. As a teenager, comedy became his outlet for processing life's contradictions and turning pain into laughter. At 20, with just $200, Carmichael moved to Los Angeles to pursue stand-up. He hustled through open mics until his sharp observational humor caught industry attention. By 2014, he was starring in his HBO special Love at the Store, directed by Spike Lee. His sitcom, The Carmichael Show on NBC, earned praise for fearlessly tackling racism, gun violence, and police brutality while still landing laughs. Carmichael's comedy was always rooted in honesty, but he carried deeper truths beneath the jokes. In 2022, during his HBO special Rothaniel, he came out publicly as gay while sitting in a small jazz club, delivering not just comedy, but raw confession. The moment was seismic. Rarely had a black male comedian of his stature spoken so openly about sexuality on such a platform. His bravery earned him a Primetime Emmy Award for outstanding writing for a variety special, cementing his place in history. However, coming out came with costs. Carmichael revealed that his mother stopped speaking to him after he shared his truth, highlighting the painful price of authenticity even within loving families. Rather than retreat, Carmichael leaned into vulnerability, using it to create art that was raw, real, and transformative. His 2023 Golden Globe hosting gig balanced comedy with cultural critique, showcasing his growth as both comedian and social commentator. Carmichael's career proves that comedy isn't just about punchlines, it's about courage, connection, and revolutionary truth-telling. Jussie Smollett, The Cautionary Tale. Jussie Smollett's trajectory from promising performer to controversial figure illustrates how quickly fame can transform into infamy when truth becomes casualty. Born into an artistic family in Santa Rosa, California, Smollett began performing as a child actor before transitioning to music and eventually landing his breakthrough role as Jamal Lyon on Fox's Empire. His portrayal of a gay black musician fighting for acceptance within his family resonated with audiences and critics alike. Smollett's character became a groundbreaking representation for black LGBTQ+ viewers who rarely saw themselves reflected in mainstream media. His musical performances on the show showcased genuine talent, while his activism for LGBTQ+ rights and racial justice made him a visible advocate for marginalized communities. The trajectory changed dramatically in January 2019 when Smollett reported being the victim of a hate crime attack in Chicago. Initially, the incident sparked widespread support and outrage, with celebrities, politicians, and activists rallying around him as a symbol of ongoing violence against LGBTQ+ people of color. However, as police investigated, evidence emerged suggesting Smollett had orchestrated the attack himself. The revelation shocked supporters and created a cultural firestorm. Legal proceedings followed, culminating in his conviction for filing false police reports and subsequent sentencing, including jail time. The scandal destroyed Smollett's career and reputation while creating broader damage. Critics argued that his actions undermined legitimate hate crime victims and provided ammunition for those who question LGBTQ+ and racial justice movements. The incident became a cautionary tale about how personal choices can impact entire communities. Smollett's story serves as a complex reminder that representation carries responsibility, and that the trust placed in public figures by marginalized communities is both precious and fragile. These 15 artists have navigated treacherous waters where talent, identity, and survival intersect. Some found liberation through visibility, others discovered power in privacy. Their stories reveal that authenticity takes many forms, sometimes loud and revolutionary, sometimes quiet and strategic, occasionally complicated and contradictory. From Tyler Perry's empire built on strategic silence to Coleman Domingo's Oscar-nominated openness, from Kevin Aviance's indestructible artistry to Jerrod Carmichael's truth-telling comedy, each journey illuminates different paths to living authentically in an industry that often demands conformity. Their collective legacy transcends individual careers. They've expanded possibilities for future generations, proving that Black LGBTQ+ artists can achieve excellence without sacrificing identity. Whether through groundbreaking roles, fearless comedy, revolutionary music, or simple persistence, they've changed the conversation about who gets to tell stories and how those stories get told. The question remains, in a world hungry for authentic representation, do artists owe their communities complete transparency, or is the art itself enough to create change? These 15 lives suggest the answer is beautifully complex, that sometimes the most powerful statement is the refusal to be categorized, and that true revolution often happens one authentic performance at a time. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these stories of courage and complexity. Subscribe for more untold journeys that remind us why representation in all its forms matters.